Welcome to the Percentage of Opportunity section of the Measurement module. In this segment, you will learn about percentage of opportunities. Let's begin by watching the following video.
Henry, sit! Henry, fetch! Oh, he's a good boy, Henry! Oh my goodness, what a baby. Henry, speak! Henry, run! Good job! Alright. Henry, roll over. Okay, that sounds good to me.
In this video, Chelsea provided her dog with 5 opportunities to follow her instructions. Her dog followed her instruction 2 times when she told him to fetch and run. We will show you how to collect percentage of opportunities data for this video. In order to calculate percentage of opportunities, you must first divide by numbers of the same quantitative dimension, such number divided by number, or time divided by time. Here is a quick example for the first step. Let's say we are looking to divide a number by a number. So, the dog followed her instructions 2 times. However, the dog was given 5 opportunities to follow her instructions. You would divide 2 by 5 and receive 0.4 as your answer. Awesome! We have step 1 down. Now, let's look at step 2. You would then multiply the number by 100. For instance, multiply 0.4 by 100. This will give you your percentage. Now that we have our percentage, we can say that Chelsea's dog engaged in following instructions in 40% of the opportunities. Let's look at another example. Today in class, Mrs. Park asked 10 different questions. John raised his hand for 6 of the 10 opportunities to answer the questions. These photos represent the 10 opportunities John had to engage in a behavior. Of those 10 opportunities, John only raised his hand in 6 of the opportunities. We would calculate the equation by dividing 6 by 10, which gives us 0.6, then multiplying 0.6 by 100, which gives us 60%. We would then say that John raised his hand in 60% of the opportunities. Let's look at how we would write the session observation notes for John. Do's. Include that John raised his hand for 60% of the opportunities to answer a question. This lets the supervisor know the specific amount of questions that John answered and the amount of opportunities he had to answer the questions. Don'ts. Writing that John answered a lot of questions. This does not give us an objective and descriptive idea about John's behavior of answering questions. Here is an example of how to write session observation note for John. Percentage of opportunities is useful for measuring behaviors that occur after a specific stimulus is presented rather than measuring behaviors that occur at any time. For example, it is useful to measure the percentage of instruction that a person follows, percentage of homework question answered correctly, etc. It is not useful for measuring repetitive movements such as hand flapping, scratching an itch, self-injury, elopement, etc. Before, we learned about rate/frequency. These measurement procedures can be tricky when deciphering which one would be appropriate. So, what is the difference between rate/frequency and percentage of opportunities? Well, you would use rate/frequency when a behavior has a clear beginning and end. When the behavior can happen at any time, meaning it does not need to be contrived or does not need an opportunity. And finally, rate/frequency must have count and time for its calculation. For example, your client elopes one time in your 60-minute sessions. Notice it uses count 1 and time 60 minutes. This calculation gives you the rate/frequency of once per hour. Now, let's compare it to percentage of opportunities. We use percentage of opportunities to measure behaviors that have a clear beginning and end, same as rate/frequency. However, percentage of opportunities differs from rate/frequency because we use percentage of opportunities to measure a behavior that happens after some stimulus, for example, giving an instruction. Percentage of opportunities also differs from rate/frequency because rate/frequency uses count over time, but percentage of opportunities uses the same dimensional quantities like time and time or count and count. For example, your client elopes for 30 minutes in your 60-minute session, which tells you that your client was engaged in elopement for 50% of the opportunities. That concludes our review of percentage of opportunities. Please complete the checkpoint questions on Canvas to proceed to the next module.